Well, hello. I am Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, your host of Evolve Weekly, the Ethical Gatekeeper. And we don't have a lot of time tonight. We've got until 7. I've got several things that are going on today, but I wanted to commit and keep my committed schedule. So we're going to just jump straight into what needs to be discussed tonight. Number 1, racism shall not be tolerated. And no one in my ethnic group should have to show some form of valuation, some form of societal status, some form of academic accolades, some form of expertise in order to enjoy the constitutionally inviolate right against racial discrimination. I should not have to acknowledge that I am a lawyer. I should not have to acknowledge that I am a public figure. Those things should not be required in order to be able to fully have my rights observed and fully and respectfully regarded. Nor should I have to exercise speaking out loud those particular degrees, education, expertise, status in order to protect myself against having my rights violated or having my person specifically violated. And yet I had to do it. I posted this 3 years ago. I was inspired by a gentleman. Let me see if I can find it and we'll pull it up and I'll play it. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Let me go to my See Tigress Run page. There's not as much content as is on my personal platform. I want to say his name was Tyler. I'm trying to remember his last name. Give me a second, I'll be able to. So in 2020, with the height of the pandemic and the height of the George Floyd debacle, the murder of George Floyd, the awakening of more of my beautiful Black people realizing that their rage was justified against racism, both covert and blatant in America. During this time, a young man, here we go. Actually, that was my first post. Hilarious. I didn't realize that. That was my first post on TikTok for my, look at there. Isn't that something? This is very emphatic, very profound. And I feel within me the fullness of how I felt at that time. Let me fix the lighting. I'll make sure the lighting is, there we go, that's better. Okay. I'm going to play it. And I'm going to pull up the name of the gentleman.
Before you.
The Tyler Merit Project. Tyler. Actually, let me put it in the chat. The Tyler Merit Project. I was inspired by this gentleman. And the hashtag, before you call the cops. Let's start it over.
Before you call the cops, I just want you to know the first thing I do and did this morning. My parents were raised in the South, but my father, and yes, I know who my father is, they taught me that all people are my people. I hate peanut butter. Moscato wine is disgusting. I'm a scientist. I am completing my final year of my PhD while beginning my second year in law school. I mentor future politicians. I hate that anyone at all might possibly be afraid of a proud, happy Black woman. Does any of this matter? I just wanted you to know before you call the cops.
Let's watch this one more time, because this was 3 years ago. And every year that passes, beautiful melanin and melanated people like myself, the beautiful diversity within my ethnic group and the diaspora, we are subjected to unrelenting racism, increasingly unrelenting, in some instances, increasingly covert, in some instances, increasingly blatant. And either way, it is disgusting. And every year we find ourselves here. Every year. Decades after our rights have been statutorily codified, we still find ourselves here. One more time.
Before you call the cops, I just want you to know the first thing I do and did this morning. My parents were raised in the South, but my father, and yes, I know who my father is, they taught me that all people are my people. I hate peanut butter. Moscato wine is disgusting. I'm a scientist. I am completing my final year of my PhD while beginning my second year in law school. I mentor future politicians. I hate that anyone at all might possibly be afraid of a proud, happy Black woman. Does any of this matter? I just wanted you to know before you call the cops.
I want to pause right there because there's a statement that I have at the ending of this TikTok. We shouldn't have to reveal quality to be treated with humanity. We shouldn't have to reveal quality to be treated with humanity. And therein lies the irony, because some have even denigrated individuals like myself who then, in the situations like that I experienced at the Goodwill in Concord, North Carolina, on Poplar Tent Road, where individuals with some form of status or education that can effectually help that person, myself in this case, avoid unlawful attack by the police, avoid an unnecessarily escalated situation with the police, avoid arrest by the police, avoid police brutality, avoid the complete violation of my constitutional rights. We've been denigrated for acknowledging that quality. Yet, if we do not, then we fall prey to the predator that is the American racist, which sometimes comes in the form of the police, sometimes comes in the form of our medical doctors, sometimes comes in the form of a court clerk when we're just handling regular court business, sometimes comes in the form of a Goodwill cashier or manager who thinks that it's appropriate to discriminatorily categorize individuals who look like me as the people who commonly come into their store and move clothes around manipulatively to get a better price. And of course, the implication is that such is being done criminally so, because in North Carolina, there is a statutory prohibition of changing the price of merchandise. Okay. So I take great offense to these things because I am not yet an attorney. And I've already dealt with my fair share, and arguably several other folks' share, of criminal liability, or at least the accusation thereof. And I've had to fight through fortitude for my reputation amidst libelous articles about me, and even the wrongful conviction in 2006, for which I continue nearly 2 decades later to get overturned because I did not commit identity theft. Oh boy. This is some pretty touchy subject matter. This is not, so if anyone watched my video and you thought, oh, what is she so upset about? What are they so upset about? Why is she raging? Why is she yelling? I am very often the calmest person in the room. And there are many of my subscribers and supporters who will tell you that Tigress is most commonly the most consistently calm and put together and well-spoken person in the room. That she can get you all the way together without raising her voice. And there's no one that would tell you opposite. Except, of course, the predator American racist. Or, which has become increasingly prevalent, the red pill community, Black male or Black female. Most commonly, the red pill community, Black male, that has adopted this weirdly strange, illogical, counterproductive, divisive, evil, if you will, disdain for women who look like them. Let's go to the video. Let me see if I can. And bear with me because I am still learning this platform. I am not yet a pro. So we're going to figure it out. Hold on. I'm going to share screen. Okay. I've already pulled up some things, so I want to go to it. Yeah, let's just do entire screen. Okay, and here we go. Let's pull this up. And we're going to go to Facebooky. And we're going to go to my profile. And we're going to take a look at the video. All right. It's a 7-minute video. I'll let you take a look at it. Got a score on the coat. All right, so we are here in Goodwill. You know.
You know what?
We got a score on the coat. Yeah, look at the lines. Look at the lines. He looking like it. He looking like a man. He look something like a man. Okay. Here, put that to the side so they can see. It's the military style 4-pocket jacket. Looked it up and everything. He's looking mighty swag in it. Yeah, y'all help him. But okay. Okay, here, just stand still for a second. Stand still. Okay. Just stand still. Stop. Okay, forward. Okay, Coca-Cola's in your future if you stand still. Stop twisting arms. All right. And see, it looks really nice. Oh, God. Okay, so how about we done got doubly lucky. And this one, okay, watch out, Asa. He's acting all silly. Okay, so you know, the children's outerwear is $3.99. And they have this. Okay, turn out the collar. Come on, be serious for a second. Come on, King. Come on, King Asa. Turn around, let me see it. All right. Yeah, swag. Oh, God. Okay. All right, wait. For the Coke, you got to stand still. Swag. All right. That's about as still as you're going to get. And what is her name? Angela, and your name is Anna. All right. Don't worry. It's okay. Because I have the money.
Adult coats are not $99. So which one is the That's really determined by length. Both of these can be run up in jacket.
Yeah, and that doesn't say that either, because over here it says $6.99. $6.99. Yeah, $6.99, $9.99, and $3.99 for kids outerwear. So, yep. All right. I'd like to get a report then. Let's go ahead and get your card.
Oh, let's check outside.
Yeah, let's get your card. Oh, it's cute.
Hi. You ain't doing nothing to me.
Yeah, it's cute. Yeah. And you're not going to yell at me. Let's be very clear.
This is not yelling.
Yeah, you're not going to yell at me. You're not going to even act like you're not. I am.
You're going to conduct yourself.
And you're a cop, and this is how you're going to conduct yourself to come here. You're not treating me like an adult. You actually thought that it was going to be appropriate to then try to gut me very quickly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You do.
I'm talking to you like an adult.
You do. I can see it in your eyes.
So
I'm not an idiot. No, there is no okay so. Number one, at this point,
stop.
There's nothing else.
Stop.
There's no stop. There is no
going to be arrested.
There is no
Stop
stop.
or you're going to be arrested.
There's
I'm
nothing
telling
to be
you right now.
arrested for.
You are.
There's nothing to be arrested for. And I want a
need to
supervisor. Thank you. You are the problem. No, there is no whoa. I can literally yell. Exactly. That's my point. As a lawyer, you don't get to decide whether or not I am. How dare you? I'm literally not going to allow white men to come around and, you thought what you thought was not going to happen. This one, number one, he just suggested that, you
ain't going to get in my face.
You can get in my face. You think you can get in mine, but I can't get in yours? I got you got it. I got the recording going. You better believe it. I'm a public figure in Charlotte. I sure will. Okay? It doesn't matter if I'm in Charlotte. Concord is also abiding to federal laws as well. I don't have to discuss anything with you because he escalated. He escalated. I am now yelling. Intentionally yelling. Okay? I'm now yelling. No, because there's nothing. I can literally stand in the middle of the street and yell if I want to, because that is not that. No, I wouldn't be blocking traffic because you are assuming that I would be standing in a place to block traffic. I said I could literally. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. It would not be a statutory violation, and that's exactly why you walked away, because you knew you were in the wrong. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, because basically what I have dealt with today is complete racism. Complete racism. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not trying to find out racism. No, you're not. No, you're not. And that's what is so sick. I can cuss as well. Yes, I can. And statutorily, the irony of that, statutorily, yes, I can, in North Carolina. Go get it. Yeah, go get it. Go get it. It doesn't matter. I already know how it goes. The law says it. I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back. I'm making sure that you are on camera and it is known that you all are full of it. Full of it. And I hope that I'm already leaving. I was already leaving. I want cards now. I want report now.
There's not going to be a report because there's no report.
There's a report number that goes with it, and I want it.
Call number. That's it.
Semantics. It's a report number for communications, and I want it. Call it whatever you want to call it. I want it.
I'm going to give you the number.
Because I've had enough of racism, and I'm sick of it, and I'm calling it out the way it should be called out. It should have already been called out. You all should not be in uniform. They should not be in their position at all. Oh, you sick of it? And you don't get to, the beauty of it is that individuals like myself who are in a capacity of law, we actually can defend ourselves. Other individuals, they want to be able to cuss you out and do the same thing, but they're too fearful. I got you. You don't treat everybody the same. He didn't do it. He didn't treat everybody the same. He didn't give me any respect. You 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 didn't give me any respect. Oh, that's what a nigger is. That's what a true nigger is. You're the nigger.
Let's say you don't like killing animals.
All right, let's go back. Let me make sure here. Come back. Stop sharing the screen. Even watching it and reliving it is just this constant reminder of that very simple principle, which should be common amongst humans for the sake of humanity at the very least. It is a centralized principle that cannot be argued against. I should not have to reveal quality to be treated with humanity. Until I revealed that I was a lawyer and not even yet a licensed attorney, they had already decided who I was. And that's because of the false reports that plague our nation by Karens like the manager, Anna, who should be fired immediately, who should be criminally prosecuted for reporting an emergency that required police intervention that was nothing more than their racism and backwards logic in seeking help, intercessory help from police who effectually have much better and much more important things to do than to come and be the effectual guard dogs that Karens and Kens sick on Black people. Asa, keep it down, because I'm live. And for those of you who are not aware, I do sometimes go live in this capacity. And so my son is sometimes in the live. Absolutely. But this is my political platform. So let's keep it short. Okay. It is vital that racism end, not only in America, but around the world. And I know that that is an idealistic goal. It's a should-be goal. It's put in the box of or categorization of transformative thought. Some would even mock the notion that it's feasible. Trust me, we Black Americans question whether it's feasible or not all the time, because we deal with the macrocosm of racism, and then we deal with also the microcosm of racism. You see, we don't have the privy to be able to always call the cops, and the cops run to our defense as zealously as they did for Karen Anna. And I don't know what she told them. I will be looking into it further. I will definitely be requesting full disclosure of the phone call that they made. But that resulted from a price check. The gentleman that you see seated in the chair at the beginning of the clip where the incident begins, if you will. He was one of the Goodwill associates that was near the children's department, and I was trying on the coats. As you saw, we were looking for a coat. And initially I was vlogging. Some of you know that I have my personal platform, which is Tigress is a Verb. And through Tigress is a Verb, I was just doing vloggers for it's just vlogging. That's it. Just straightforward. It's just vlogging. It was a regular ass day. With my mom, we were doing a little bit of Christmas shopping and hanging out and just having a good old time on a Saturday, or trying to. And we love thrift shopping. If you saw my post, the ridiculousness of her thinking that we moved it. Number one, they don't have price tags in Goodwill. So it's not like you can change the price anyway. And then otherwise, if it's like knickknacks and things like that, they have like these stickers on it. And that would be like the Dickens to try to remove a sticker, put on another sticker, all while trying to conceal it in this space. It's ridiculous when everything is a deal. The glasses, I just got stemware, crystal stemware for 99 cents per glass. I paid $4. Plates, 49 cents. Cups, 29 cents or whatever. Jacket, $6.99. Even though, honey, she came up with a lie for every day of the week. And too many of us Black people, we know that that's what Karens and Kens do. It's the answer for Black people versus the answer for white people, for their peers. So it's the equivalent of the white fountain versus the Black fountain. It's the equivalent of, you've heard me use the term all the time. I'm the one that has brought the term to the forefront of the general public, obfuscation. So you're going to confuse the facts. So basically, I asked that gentleman, this is the right space, right? Or these are kids. I wanted to check because I wasn't sure. My mom even was like, is that a girl's coat or is that a boy's coat? What is it? We weren't really sure. I looked it up. He said, yeah, if it's hanging there, then it's children's outerwear. Okay, perfect. Great. And I had only asked because I was excited. $3.99. I'm excited. A deal is a deal. Even $6.99 would have been great. Even $9.99 would have been great, to be honest with you. But where the buck stops is when Karen Anna decided that she would subject me to a Black fountain. That price is for white people that we like, or it's definitely not for a Black person who is too proud or who asserts themselves, who's going to talk back. And effectually, what Karen Anna perceived as talking back, because I'm 47 years old, I'm not talking back. Are you serious? I'm the customer. First of all, the merchandise was hung there. And when I brought it to the cashier and referred back to the gentleman who confirmed that the price was $3.99, I responded to the white woman cashier who you see at the end, who I'm filming, and I say, oh, that's cute. And she said, oh, I don't have anything to do with it. Oh, you don't? You're who started this party, honey. You started this race war. Immediately when I gave her the merchandise, she looked at it and looked at me crazy. And I was like, she said, well, what is this? I said, well, I'm buying these for my son. The initial reaction was really crazy. And I guess maybe she thought they were for me, but they were clearly too small to be for me. It was a little big for Asa, but definitely too small for me. And that's why we were trying to make sure that, we had the right thing, all the things. And that's why I did the verification. But she immediately said, well, you people come in here and move things around all the time. Who is you people? Who the hell is you people? Who the hell do you think you're talking to right now? At that point, I didn't acknowledge that I was a lawyer. I didn't acknowledge that I was a public figure. I did none of those things. I said, okay, let's get your manager out here. Because your words are really inappropriate. And anybody else in my situation very likely would have cussed them out. Like it would have got to profanity. So while we're waiting on the manager, who ultimately turns out to be Karen Anna, who makes the situation even worse. Because, honey, she goes into the full-blown Karen-splanation. There should be a word. Like mansplaining, she went into Karen-splaining, okay? So while we're waiting, herein lies the sheer irony, because they very often will bring into the fold of their racism some black Sambo who's gonna go along with the go along. Well, Mr. said that you people, you move stuff, so Mr. must be right. So you got this black woman who's standing up there and she's doing that dance. She's doing the Sambo dance. Well, I know that these hangers are adult hangers. And so she must have moved a missile. She must have moved a massa. Because they got adult hangers and the kids hangers would be on the coats if it was kids, if it was truly in the kids department. And I said, ma'am, you're a lie from the pit of hell. I said, I'll show you. Come on. And I walk over, and that's when they were just like, pretty much like, this person beneath us didn't stand up for herself. Yes, the hell I did. And I quickly was able to show them, and that's why you saw that gentleman just sitting there, because he knew he was basically sitting there effectually in my defense, in protest in my defense. He stopped working altogether and sat down, and he was listening. He was like, yes, you're right. But of course, by the time I start recording is when the Karen Anna shows up, and then you see what transpires there. And anyone with any good form of cognition knows that this one tool that we have of capturing video of our of the racist predators that pursue us, we don't always get to capture the very beginning of their pursuit. If I did, then you would think it was scripted, right? And I quickly showed them, I'm like, there are other adult hangers, you see, let's go through it. And as I'm doing this, then Karen Anna shows up and they're here. This is the problem. But she was denigrating toward me and made very clearly, inarguably discriminatory conclusions about me that were completely baseless. Then we go into the Karen-splaining where it was like, okay, well then, okay. My mom's like, well, all right, fine. So they're adult wear. Then what's the price? And then she started hemming and hawing again. That's her Karen-splaining. She didn't want me to have it at all, honey. It had already been decided at that point. Black girl, you got to leave. We want you out of here. And it is unclear who actually made the phone call. It is unclear who actually or directed someone to make the call. Who made the call to make the call? You see what I'm saying? Because Karen Anna was standing there the entire time. So I'm not sure if she called or if she had already said, hey, go ahead and call the police. And then I'm going to go over there. I have no clue. And the funny thing is that she kept me talking. She kept asking me questions. And I was like, okay, at this point, because my mom was like, Tigress, I really want you to, because she really wanted me to have the coats for Asa. And at this point, as you could clearly see, I had already made my decision. I had already walked off. As if you notice from the camera angles, I was done. Honey, you don't want my money. My money is all black. Mine is all black. So I'm going to take all my black money and I'm going to leave. Oh, I know how to speak economically. After all, she's an economist. You don't want my black money, and all my money is black. I don't care what you physically see. That green money that's in my wallet, in my bank account, is all black. Proud black and Haitian. Proud black and Cherokee. Proud black and diasporan. So then she starts Karen-splaining, as my mom is, she's trying to find a way to leave with the coats. Because it was super cute on Asa. But, honey, the child is good looking. We'll find something on him. We'll find something that looks great on him because he's good looking. He can hang a suit. Okay? It ain't gonna be the only coat we find. And it wasn't. If you watch the rest of that vlog, you'll see that we were very easily able to find him 2 more coats that he looked even better. So then I look at I overhear what she's saying to my mom, and I'm trying to get my mom to come on. And then I point out very quickly, you're not even telling the truth in that regard. Because she says, these are jackets. If you go back to the video, she says, these are jackets. But she tells my mom that they are $9.99. And then I point out, but you're not even saying that correctly, because on this sign it says jackets are $6.99 and coats are $9.99. And then you hear her hemming and hawing some more inaudibly in the background, because the point is she did not want me to have it because I was black. She had already decided through her prejudice against black people that I should not have it because I was amongst a group of people that she had already discriminatorily categorized as individuals who were criminally inclined to move things from one section of the store to another section so that they could get over price-wise. And that could be a whole nother conversation, but we're not going to get into that. I wanted to make sure that was completely explained in great detail because, number one, I'm a public figure. And I hate to even say the word but I'm black first. And even the best and the most influential and the most economically powerful of us have quickly realized that we're black first in the eyes of the American predator races. And unfortunately for individuals like myself, we have to then explain our response to the racism that we experience. And I just wanted to make it very resoundingly clear that I am definitely filing an internal affairs complaint. Some of you already expected that. But I'm tired of racism. And I wanted to make sure that you understood that even for individuals like myself who can keep their composure, we should not be expected to keep our composure. That even the rage in the way that I expressed it, as you heard my frustration, and when I review the video, I hear my own frustration. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And I recall at one point she was even directing her focus to my mom. And I remember like I remember getting her together like, I'm 47. What do you think that she don't find your behavior cute either? She just trying to leave here with the coats. Because sometimes in so doing, the psychology behind it is like, get in their head, have them think that they're winning, and then the ultimate win is you got what you wanted. And that's where my mom was coming from. That was the perspective that she was coming from. And I was on some old keep it. Because all of my money is black. It's black. It's the blackest. I thought it was important to also do a segue and include in this live, and we've got 10 more minutes, to include in this live, well, technically 14 more minutes because I started a little after 6, showing that I've been live for 46 minutes. I want to touch upon absolute judicial immunity. And I want to make it very clear. I know some of you have learned with the antics of Trump that no one is above the law. You're also relearning from Diddy's case, even though he is a black man, he has the status of a white man in America. And even he is learning very quickly that such status is not equivalent to absolute immunity. I thought it was an appropriate correlation to reiterate the truism, inescapably, that judges do not enjoy absolute judicial immunity. And the term itself should be stricken from our Constitution federally and from the Constitution and a body of statutes for each state, because there is conduct by judges that is subject to reprimand and even disbarment and even criminal conviction. So let's go to it. Let's go back there. So and just to bring that complete thought full circle. So of course, the Concord police are subject to the liabilities that arose from their discriminatory, racially prejudiced actions against me. Of course they are. They enjoy no such immunity. And a Goodwill employee, manager or not, surely has absolutely no form of statutory or even common law basis for immunity and shall be fully held accountable as I continue to prosecute my administrative complaints through the Goodwill channel and through internal affairs against the police officers. Racism shall not be tolerated. Right. I'll share my screen once more. I'm going to go to, we got it here. Here we go. All right, so All right, impeachment of federal judges. This is the Federal Judicial Center. This is a government-based publication. These are just a few of the notable instances in the history of the United States that show inarguably and clearly that even federal judges, these would be the highest judges of the land, can be impeached, removed, criminally prosecuted, publicly reprimanded, held in contempt. Understood? Then I'm going to give you some more specific examples. The reason why I'm doing this is because too often victims of these rogue judges, they have valid complaints against these judges in state court, bankruptcy court, business court, which are all effectually state courts. Well, bankruptcy definitely can also be federal, mostly federal. But too often, victims do not sufficiently argue specifically against the conduct of the judges in such a way that lawfully moves the Judicial Commission, the North Carolina Court of Appeals, which is charged and empowered with checks and balances for these judgeships. And so too often these complaints get dismissed as complaining against judges for the decisions that they render in a case, as opposed to the conduct of the judges that violates judicial canons. So if there's anything that you'll learn from my platform is accurate application of law. Okay. And we're at 6:55, so we've got 10 minutes. We're going to go through these all specifically so that you have clarity. I cannot provide you legal representation, but I can provide legal education. And then you can do your research and or through an ethical attorney properly prosecute or litigate your complaints against subject judges. The term subject judges just means any judge who is subject to your complaint. Got it? Goes all the way back to 1804. So let's be clear that this is not something that's just new. It's not new. 1776, right, is independence. We know that. So we can use that as a pivotal point. Only some 20 years later, or 30 years later, thereabouts, John Pickering, was impeached on charges of mental instability and intoxication on the bench. He was convicted by the U.S. Senate and removed from office March 12, 1804. Samuel Chase, Associate Justice, Supreme Court of the United States. He was impeached on charges of arbitrary and oppressive conduct of trials. Yes, it says he was acquitted, but understand the whole point here is to show you that not even a judge enjoys absolute immunity. If a judge, he or he enjoyed absolute immunity, charges of arbitrary and oppressive conduct of trials could not even been raised against him. Understood? James H. Peck, impeached. And it doesn't matter because he's impeached. Understand, there's some finalization with the impeachment. And he was impeached on charges of abuse of the contempt power. West H. Humphreys, impeached on charges of refusing to hold court and waging war against the U.S. government. Convicted by the U.S. Senate and removed from office. Mark Delahaye, impeached on charges of intoxication on the bench. He resigned before the opening of the trial. Charles Swain, impeached on charges of abuse of contempt power and other misuses of office. Robert Archibald, impeached on charges of improper business relationships with litigants, convicted and removed from office. George W. English, impeached on charges of abuse of power, resigned, then impeached. Harold Louderback, impeached on charges of favoritism in the appointment of bankruptcy receivers. Halstead Ritter, impeached on charges of favoritism in the appointment of bankruptcy receivers in practicing law while sitting as a judge, convicted and removed from office. Harry Claiborne, impeached on charges of income tax evasion and of remaining on the bench following criminal conviction, convicted and removed from office. 1986, Alcee Hastings, impeached on charges of perjury and conspiring to solicit a bribe, convicted and removed. 1989, Walter Nixon, impeached on charges of perjury before a federal grand jury, convicted and removed from office. Samuel Kent, impeached on charges of sexual assault, obstructing and impeding an official proceeding and making false and misleading statements. He resigned. G. Thomas Porteous Jr., impeached on charges of accepting bribes and making false statements under penalty of perjury, convicted and removed from office. 2010. I pulled up this article, but in the interest of time, we're going to go here. Judicial Conduct Reporter. I've actually listed these, I've linked these in my post earlier today for your convenience. Read through them at your convenience. This one is particularly important because, of course, it is relevant to our state. I want you to see this state judicial discipline in 2022, a year ago. I need you to understand that it is not unusual. Someone like an attorney or a judge who is faking the funk and obfuscating, they will say that it is unusual or uncommon for a judge, and that a judge, they'll tout that the judge enjoys absolute judicial immunity. That can't be true with an entire Judicial Conduct Reporter as a publication. The notion would be absurd. There would be no need for a Judicial Conduct Reporter if such were true. There would be no point of judicial ethics and a research area for legal scholars, a judicial commission, a North Carolina Court of Appeals, a federal judiciary, a checks and balances. None of that would even remotely be in existence if absolute judicial immunity were indeed a fact. You need to make sure that if you're complaining against a judge, that you stipulate, that you properly articulate the conduct that rises to the level of misconduct. Remember, I went over elements to a crime, elements for a civil wrong. You need to make sure that you read the laws, the judicial canons, to see what types of conduct are deemed unlawful. Then you need to stick to the facts and prove up exactly, show exactly how the judge violated any specific canon. And you can think of canon as just rules of conduct. So here are some examples, and then we'll end this live. Now, these are things, says what judges said in criminal cases that got them in trouble. And for some of us, we've experienced much worse, but didn't know how to assert our rights, didn't know how to assert a complaint. Maybe very likely were bullied against it by rogue cops like the supposed lieutenant or sergeant Franklin and Officer Yates and Officer Brown, who don't deserve those titles at all. We'll go through these. You're setting yourself up, sir, to be Bubba's new best girlfriend at the state penitentiary. Hope you realize that. You don't want to be somebody's girlfriend when you go up the road and butt raped. Does everyone speak English? King and Hingham high prosecutors, I'm pleading you guilty. I'm not going to appoint a lawyer for you. Get a job. You should have stayed in South Arkansas. I wish you would have stayed in Illinois. I get a lot of troublemakers from California. So you have been dumping some waste off side of the road in streams and so on. I'm going to read you your rights, or read you the rights. Well, in this case, I don't think it's necessary. That's a pretty big one because most of us understand the nature of that one. You have a right to have your rights. That's all. All of this is due process related. And in another live, we'll go over the difference between substantive due process and procedural due process so that you have a better understanding of why all of it is protected by the U.S. Constitution. Last few. The prosecutor isn't here. Let's see how much we can get away with. I've actually heard something very similar. Very similar. Directed at me even. You can trust me. I know I'm not dressed like a judge, but I'm really the judge. I think this was very interesting. The judge was reveling in her lack of decorum, which included presiding while wearing tank tops, t-shirts, index shorts, and sneakers. Like, sheesh, the disrespect. Little boy, a judge berating male defendants who called her ma'am, which she resented. But if they didn't refer to her respectfully by ma'am, then you have some judges that would say that was offensive. The irony. Always getting us the hookups. Don't worry, we don't have to pay. It's on him. The judge joking in court about waiving fees for defendants in exchange for food, beverages, flooring, and car repair for herself and her staff. Move it, quit talking. Lord have mercy. You show me enough disrespect all freaking day long. What is your problem? Get out of here. Playing games and being a consistent problem in court. You start with all the information from the report, all the testimony, crescendos, to the cause and manner of death, which is the sex of the testimony. You want to tease the jury with the details of the examination, and you want to lead them to the climax of the manner and cause of death. That is so inappropriate. Making sexual innuendos for a murder trial, a homicide case. Even something as a highbrow remark as esteemed subjected the judge to reprimand. Because he was being sarcastic, highbrow. Zero credibility with myself or the prosecutor's office. Judge before dismissing cases involving a particular deputy sheriff. Wasting my time and calling them idiots. A judge about police officers during arraignments. And it was admonished. Let's come out of this. Understand, if you learn nothing else from this platform, you will learn the accurate application of law. There will be no tolerance for legal obfuscation around these parts, and there will be no tolerance for racism. I am your host, Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, the host of Evolve Weekly, the Ethical Gatekeeper. I established the Ethical Gatekeeper because we gatekeep the gatekeepers. Have a wonderful evening.